Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunshine Coast Regional District Regular Board Meeting for Thursday, February 12th, 2026. It's 1 p.m. I would like to call this meeting to order and acknowledge that the SCRD is located on the traditional territories of the Shishal and Squamish nations. I would also like to take this moment to take 30 seconds of silence as a moment to recognize the horrific tragedy of in Tumbler Ridge this week. And to give some thoughts to those who are affected by it. Today is recognized as a day of mourning in British Columbia, and this moment is intended to reflect our shared sympathy, support, and care for that community and others who are affected during this time. So we'll just take a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everybody. Directors, we do have an agenda in front of us today. Are there any changes to make to the agenda? Director Gabius.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just under new business, I'd like to put forward a motion just following our discussion this morning about Fire Smart funding.
Thank you. And so I don't see any other hands up. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please? Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, that is carried. First up, we have the regular board meeting minutes of January 22nd, 2026. Directors, before we adopt those minutes, are there any errors or omissions that need to be flagged? Seeing no hands, may I have a motion to adopt those minutes, please? Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Directors, is there any business arising from the minutes or unfinished business that anybody would like to bring up? Seeing no hands, we are going to move on now to, we have no presentations or delegations. We're going to move on to item 6.1, which is Committee of the Whole meeting recommendations 1 through 12 for January 22nd. Before we adopt the block, are there any that directors wish to pull for separate consideration? Seeing no hands, can I have a motion to endorse the block, please? Moved, seconded. Thank you, Director Stanford. Any discussion on that? I will call the question then. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Next up, item 6.2, starting on page 15, is the Budget Committee meeting recommendations 1 to 33 of February 2nd, 2026. Director De Andrade has flagged 13 and 27 for separate discussion. And so I know that the Deputy Corporate Officer would like to pull recommendation 20 for some wording change on the recommendation. Directors, are there any others to pull for separate consideration before we endorse the block? Seeing no hands, can I have a motion to endorse recommendations 1 to 33 except 13, 20, and 27? Moved, seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. So we'll work through these in sequential order. So recommendation 13, Director De Andrade, did you want to speak to this?
Yeah, thank you. It's just a clarification. So it's in any ways we are against the feasibility study and, sorry, the Sechelt landfill vertical expansion detail. It's just the way the funding was proposed is we feel that was an unfair procedure because, Gibsons have been paying water infrastructure for over 10 years at very high prices. So in a way, we feel penalized. But I just want to enforce that we are not against the vertical expansion. That's it.
Okay, thank you. So would somebody, yeah, go ahead, Director McMahon?
Yeah, I will move recommendation 13.
Okay, to endorse, thank you. And I've got a seconder for that. Is there any other discussion on that? If not, I will call the question. All those in favor? Those opposed, Director DeAndrade is opposed. That'll be recorded. Thank you. Next up is recommendation 20, which I believe, we just did 13. No, we just did 13.
Thank you.
Recommendation 20.
Thank you, Chair. The Manager of Budgeting and Grants would like to amend the wording for recommendation number 20 to the following, that the Budget Committee recommended that the following budget proposal be approved and incorporated into the 2026 budget. Budget proposal number 6, Vine Brook Bridge Construction, $518,240, funded $510,000 through short-term debt and $8,240 through taxation for the Parks Management Resource, and that a loan of up to $510,000 be borrowed under Section 403 of the Local Government Act from the Municipal Finance Authority for the purpose of the Vine Brook Bridge construction project.
Thank you very much. And I've got a mover for that. Thank you, and a seconder. So the only change is just changing it from equipment financing loan to short-term borrowing, also through MFA. Any discussion on this? Director Bax?
I noticed that the word 5 years was removed from that amendment. Is the short-term loan have a length of time?
The short-term loans are limited to a maximum of 5 years? Yeah, I will call the question then on that recommendation. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much. And finally, recommendation number 27. And so, Director DeAndrade, back to you.
Thank you, Chair. Well, that's another expense that with Gibson's feel that we should pursue other venues. I understand that the developer that proposed this feasibility study had offer in a case $30,000. I understand as well that, I have not participated in every single meeting, and I'm not sure where things are, but again, it seems $15,000 is not a lot of money, but there's a compounding amount of increases that have been hitting, and I think Gibson's in particular is feeling a lot of the pressure, including because we have been already increasing taxes in the past to address all the water infrastructure and operations as well, and sewage and so on now, drainage. So anyways, we thought that it will be relevant to accept the form proposal by Chief Rob Michael that we could look at the community. I understand that the board discussed, but I'm just also, again, putting my point of view.
Thank you. Director McMahon.
Yeah, we received a petition from quite a number of property owners asking us to proceed with this study, and I don't think we could or should ignore it until we fully understand the implications of an expansion of the fire service area boundary. We're not in a position to make an informed decision about it. And I think everybody needs to understand the implications really clearly before we can do any decision-making at all. Thanks.
Go ahead.
So sorry for my ignorance, but I think my question is why this could not be focused on the area that the need is, and Gibson's need to be involved. I understand that the fire department has to be involved, but I also understood by the minutes from the meetings from February 2nd that the money could come from the community, and that's where the part, developers, they are interested in expanding, they have to pay. That's how we have with DCCs, and we have with, in Gibson's, if a developer wants to do a project, and even with their consultant report, if staff or council feels we need a peer review, they pay for the peer review, and the results are not attached to the payment of the peer review. So I have difficulty understanding why we have to foot the bills.
I will speak to that just real quick because it did come up previously, and the reason is the direction that's been given thus far is around a boundary expansion of the existing service. And so because it's EF and Town of Gibson's in the service now, the boundary expansion would affect EF and Town of Gibson's. Director Stanford, I think you'd actually asked the question originally, right? Because of, Area F having a willingness to pay for it. Yeah, go ahead.
So that was an option, like something we had asked about, but because it's an existing service, then it has to come out of that service. Now, it's being characterized as a development request. That's not what it is. This is people that already live there. There's about 80 or 90 people that signed the petition. They already live there. They have homes there. This isn't about developers. There may be a component later on that will be more development based on our OCP and other items that are going on in that area. But right now, these people would like to see what it would take to have fire service brought to the 8-kilometer mark, which is consistent across the coast in terms of fire service. So this was the only option we had. It is coming out of reserves, which I do recognize is taxation. It's not new taxation, but it is a form of taxation. So I do recognize this has been difficult, but this was the only option that we had.
Director Bax, did I see your hand?
Yeah, I understand that the rules of local government state that because it's an expansion of an existing service, that only those in the existing service would pay for this type of thing. But I'm also reminded that private citizens can donate to local government. There's nothing stopping them from doing that.
Thank you, Director Bax. So would somebody like to move a Director McMahon, go ahead. Or Director Stanford? One of you? Go ahead, Director McMahon.
Sure, I move that motion
Okay,
to endorse.
and I've got a seconder for that. This is voting all directors as a weighted vote. So I think we've exhausted the debate on it, but I will look one last time. Yeah, it's all of us, Director Bax. I will call the question. All those in favor? And those opposed? Director D'Andrade opposed. The motion's carried. And with that, we will move on to item 6.3, which is the Sport Court Wall Panel Replacement Contract Award on page 26. And Manager Van Velzen, thank you for joining us online. Did you want to give a brief introduction to this?
Yeah, sure, Chair. A brief introduction. So staff are seeking board approval today to award a contract to Spain Development Limited for replacement of the sport court wall panels at the Gibson's Area Community Center. There's no financial applications associated with this contract award. The previously approved project budget is sufficient to fund the contract, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Director Bax.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the facility. I'm just wondering where this wall exists. What wall are we talking about?
Thank you for the question. These are the walls in the squash and racquetball courts, so they're just kind of in the main front area of the facility.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions from directors? Any motions from directors? We do have recommendations on page 26. Director Bax?
I move the recommendations as they appear on page 26.
Thank you, and I've got a seconder for that. This is all directors as a weighted vote. Any further discussion on the matter? I will call the question then, as long as Director Inkster is ready to go. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion's carried. Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to item 6.4, request for exemption from noise control bylaw for Murder in a Small Town, Season 3. Did you want to speak to this, or? Sure. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we were contacted again as filming is going to gear up again within many communities across the Sunshine Coast. These folks have been really transparent in their communications. They weren't able to give us super specific information with respect to upcoming dates, but they did give us a broad timeline. So I'm recommending today that we offer them a blanket exemption just to cover all of their filming and filming activities during that time. They also mentioned to me today that they're really committed to still informing neighbors within the immediate area of each individual film set of their specific plans with their contact info, and they've committed to running that by us in advance for approval.
Great, thank you very much. Director Bax?
Yeah, I think everybody's on board with this, and I'd like to move the recommendations as they appear on page, is it 28?
Thank you, Director Bax. Do I have a seconder for that? Thank you. I've got a couple of them. Yeah, I just want to compliment these folks because I think they've been very good neighbors with their filming and the production. And I know that a lot of communities are grateful for it, but it can also cause a large amount of disruption having that sort of traffic and activity within neighborhoods. So I haven't heard anything negative about the filming activities. And yeah, I would think our staff would flag that if they had. Director Inkster.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're obviously they're cooperative. I mean, these are pretty cheap sets, right? That they're using our towns, and they're certainly welcome. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with that, I will call the question. This is voting electoral area directors. All those in favor? Thank you, that's unanimous. All right, and item 6.5, appointment of chief and deputy chief election officers. And corporate officer, did you want to introduce this?
Thank you, Chair. The general local election is scheduled for October 17th this year. And as such, and in accordance with Section 58 of the Local Government Act, this report is coming forward to appoint the chief election officer and the deputy chief election officer to administer and conduct the election.
Great, thank you. Director Bax.
I'd like to move the recommendations and appoint these two individuals as our chief election and deputy election officers as the recommendation appear on page 31.
Thank you, and I've got a seconder for that. Any discussion, any debate on that? Would somebody like to appoint somebody else instead? I don't think we're going to, but I gotta ask anyways. I will call the question. This is all directors, one vote each. All those in favor? And any opposed? That motion's carried. Thank you. All right, so we have no communications. We have no motions under the motions section. We have no bylaws. We do have directors' reports. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with Director De Andrade, and we'll work our way in, and then we'll go to Director Lee, Director Paul, Director Stanford. So go ahead.
Thank you. One good news, last meeting in council, we endorsed the low carbon resilience climate action plan. So it's ready and endorsed, and this plan would work in tandem with the urban forest plan. Since obviously trees are the best machines to capture carbon, so pretty pleased that we have an urban forest plan to rely. I attended the curling ring 50-year birthday. It was quite, for me, it was unique because I've never been in the ring before, and I tried curling. It's quite difficult. It's way more difficult than you think, but I was able to place 2 stones in the house. So it actually gave me some incentive to maybe I'll try. I also participate. I attended the. I'm sure the board is aware of the Deer Crossing Art Farm, and they do a series of programs. But one that they do, it's a ripped open. It's youth led, and they have now a store at the Sunnycrest Mall, and it's bubbling. There's always people there, tons of donations. But I went to their fashion show in the library, so it's a partnership with the library, and I was quite impressed because they did also a theme. Not only their costumes were quite incredible, but the theme, right, criticizing the new era arrived with all these robots and AI was really well done. Anyways, I'm always feel touched when we support youth in any ways because they're the new us. And many times they don't have opportunity. So this is quite incredible. So I was pleased I went, but I also felt the power. So thank you.
Thank you. Director Inkster.
Thank you, Chair. I hope that Director DeAndretti meant curling stones in the house when she successfully played that game.
What did I say?
As opposed to throwing rocks at glass
As opposed to
houses?
regular stones, I'm just making sure. So thanks, Chair, for your caring moment at the beginning of the meeting. With the moment of silence, it's particularly hits home when you have children, which many of us do and have kids in school. Schools, so it's really important to hope that they're always safe, right? And just a couple of messages, reminder to the board to keep supporting their local Legion and to do their best to support Arrowhead. Many other organizations to support, but those are just two right now that are really important. Oh, why, I should just keep saying the food bank, but everyone knows that, right? But anyway, those two ones are really topical right now, thanks.
Thank you, Director Inkster. And just responding to an email from our staff wondering where everybody is for a photo opportunity with Arrowhead right now. So I know, I had to remind them that Thursdays are always a bad day for us. So Director Bax?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if everyone on the board has received my newsletter, but if you haven't, just let me know and I'll make sure that that gets to you. It covers my activity for the previous month and what I've got coming up. My community association in association with my OCPC are having an open house a week from Sunday at the community hall. And that's one of the bigger things. It's a session to try to get more public input from my community on the OCP renewal process. And besides that, had an interesting meeting with the seniors transportation work group last month, and we had advocacy people from transit advocacy people from the Lower Sunshine Coast and the Upper Sunshine Coast, and discussing some of the issues with transportation, especially for seniors within our communities. And not a lot else. As I said, if you want more, let me know and I'll send you out my newsletter.
Great. Thank you very much. Director McMahon?
Yes, well, of course, the big news in Area E is our crosswalk, also known as a signalized intersection at Highway 101 and Ocean View Drive. It is in operation now. And that's really exciting, and the community is more than happy. There will be, the bus stop associated with this intersection is not finished yet, so probably in March, the community will hold a party, and maybe we'll hold it on both sides of the highway so that we can go back and forth. It's a very exciting new thing to do. So big thanks to the staff at MOTT for their hard work on that, particularly Jeremy Waxel. I went to a lot of meetings in the last few weeks. It just, it becomes a blur of meetings, but I haven't got a really big thing to report, so I'll just note that the Elphinstone Community Association regular meeting is coming up on Wednesday, February 18th at 7 p.m. Usual meeting, please come, all welcome, Frank West Hall. On March the 7th, there will be a community cleanup in Elphinstone where we get to climb into ditches and pick up garbage. What more fun way to spend your Saturday? Please come join us. And then the library, the annual general meeting for the Gibson's Public Library is coming up. I was trying to find the exact date. I'll have to go dig to find it. But I just wanted to remind people that if you are a library user, if you have a library card, you can come and vote for the library board. And it's very grassroots. There aren't that many institutions where the people who use the institution govern it. And I think that's pretty cool. Oh, right. And final thing, yes, I meant to say, I'm one of the organizers of the Women's Local Government Campaign School coming up on February 28th. Article in the Coast Reporter will be coming out on Friday. The paper version, the online version is already up there. And anyone who is planning to run, regardless of who you are, if you want to find out more about running for local government, I am happy. Just reach out. I'm happy to talk to people, go for coffee, give you some ideas about what's involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director McMahon. It's kind of wild to think about that we're closing in on that time, isn't it? Director Gabius.
Yes, it seems like not that long ago that I went for coffee with Director McMahon. And so the Half Moon Bay APC had their inaugural meeting. So congratulations to our chair, Kim Doherty. She was reelected as chair, and a big welcome to our new member, Ann Clancy. Glad to have you on board. I went to the library board meeting where, of course, they were talking about their budget. So since then, we have approved their request. And they also, just so you know, they're hosting Olympic watch parties at the library. If you're so inclined, or if you don't, you're not able to stream it at home, you can go to the library and watch stuff. There's a schedule on their website. And one of the things that was brought to our attention is Bill C-15, which is from the Government of Canada. So it's something to do with stamps and postage, and that would threaten libraries' ability to ship books at low rates. So they're quite concerned about that. So they're doing some advocacy to speak against these potential changes. OCP engagement has begun, phase 2. So I was lucky to catch the tail end of the pop-up at the Welcome Woods Market on Monday. That looked amazing. It was so good to see staff there, and looked like there was some really nice, meaningful engagement there. So thank you to everybody who stopped by and talked to our staff and gave some input on the project. And March 1st, which is a Sunday, from 1 to 3, there will be a community-led meeting about the OCP, the Half Moon Bay in Half Moon Bay. And so that's led by the Community Development Forum. It's at Cooper's Green. Registration needed because there's limited seats. But it's a really nice endeavor. Like, the community wants to get as much input as possible, help people get up to date on the project, share some information, and kind of workshop together. So that's going to be really good. I'm so glad they're doing that. It's going to be great. And Cooper's Green Hall, speaking of Cooper's Green Hall, lots of activities happening. They've started doing coffee chats. There's games during the day. There's music shows. They're even starting pub nights. There's one tomorrow, which I'm going to go check out. So yeah, lots happening in Half Moon Bay. Yeah, that's it for me. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Director Lee, you're up.
Thank you, Chair. Been kind of quiet. I was at that intergovernmental roundtable, which I found very actually enjoyable. A little bit alarming because infrastructure asset management appears to be a hot topic for all the governments, but I was very happy to see all the governments present as well, which I thought it was great, very worthwhile event. Round 2 budget, we're through that. We just adopted today. I thought that staff are really in sync with the board's thoughts. It made it actually no drama, which it means it's really well done when you get that way. So I like that. And the one thing locally that's happening in my area was the provincial government come up to the Legion and talked about boathouse tenures, on-site support with the businesses, how to apply. It was actually very refreshing to have meetings like that and everybody working together to get the thing done. I was very happy we've come a long way. So I thought I needed to mention that. So, and that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Director Lee. Director Paul?
Thank you, Chair. I don't have very much to report from SNG perspective. I just want to take the opportunity to say that the nation itself is holding elections, the advance polls on Sunday the 15th, the regular days on Saturday the 21st, and that's where this seat comes from our municipality. I just wanted to thank everybody here. I said I've had a lot of conversations one-on-one, gaining new perspective and learning this job and this position. I just want to acknowledge the restrictions that many of the public don't understand that the board has and our staff who have to work within some very rigid guidelines and really rigid procedures that sometimes don't allow us to help the community as much or as fast as we want to. So it's been a very good learning experience. I just wanted to thank everybody here, with staff included, that have answered questions that have been there, tried to do their best on everything with those restrictions. So I just wanted to thank you. It's been a good learning experience. I've really loved it. So whatever the future holds, I just wanted to thank you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Paul. I guess I have a question about that then. So the election is on the 21st. How quickly after that will SNGD either reappoint you or appoint a new rep if the seat is changing?
I believe it's within 2 weeks. It depends because for our election law, we have up to 10 days to sign the oath of office. So if something happens, and then they have to have the first full meeting and then assign people, kind of like what we do here with the chair and stuff on the yearly thing. So
Thank you for that. And it's been a pleasure having you at this table if you're not returning. And if you are returning, well, we'll see in a few weeks. But I've always appreciated the perspectives that you bring to the table and the knowledge that you do have to share with us when you can. So thank you.
thanks.
Director Stanford.
Thank you. I also agree with Chair. It's been nice having you here, Philip, and hope to see you continue on. But yeah, it's been good. I think most of the focus that I've had over the last little while has been the budget. And it's always an opportunity to learn and to review different aspects of the budget from different questions we get from the community. So looking at it from a different lens each time. And one of the things that has come out of this process this time is based on some comments from the public through the Sunshine Coast Chamber of Commerce is, do we work together? And as going through the budget, we work together a lot. And just examples was the Accessibility Committee, the Sports Field Strategy, the Joint Application for Fire Suppression Safety and Emergency Planning, and asset management. So we can just see these examples of how we are working together. And we have a long way to go. We can still keep doing that and building more and more as to how we can keep working together. So apart from budget, which has been quite a focus, one of the highlights is a couple of nights ago, I attended the West Howe Sound Community Association meeting. And they had Peter Carson from the YMCA camp come and explain their new programs. They've done a reset, where they're going in the future, some of their challenges, how they can help the community, how we can help them. It's a huge underreported part of our region, how the camps impact us and how we work with the children's camp structure we have on the coast. For example, when we're talking about road safety, our S-curve situation, which is near the camp, they have 20,000 crossings a year on that particular road, and that is 2 blind corners, heavy traffic, BC Ferries traffic, school, all coming together on what is a very dangerous section of road. So again, it's how do we work with the camps to make that safer for everybody? The other item I'd like to forward to Mr. Carson is, I seem to remember somebody said that Operation Lentus is coming to Sunshine Coast. That's the joint military operation. I seem to remember somebody said they're going to come at some point. And I'd like to reach out to them and find out if they have any interest in looking at the camps, because that would be a completely unique aspect of how they respond to natural emergencies on the coast, is all our children's camps. So that's something I'd like to work with. Anyway, the YMCA is also very happy to see people come down and go through their area, look for new ideas for programming, et cetera, et cetera. So please feel free to reach out to the YMCA. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Director Stanford. I don't have a ton to add. I think I just want to say thank you to everybody, all the directors who were very well prepared and thought ahead for budget. We planned for 2 days and we managed to get it all done in 1 day, and that's kudos to all of you for being prepared and keeping your comments and remarks, on point. Still more to do in terms of developing our communications out to the community about what it's going to look like, and we still have bylaws to adopt, or the financial plan to adopt. Still more to go, but most of the heavy lifting for us, at least, is done when it comes to budget for this year. When we talk about intergovernmental work and what the governments get up to at this table, sometimes we're not always aware of the things that are going on in the background. But at Committee of the Whole yesterday in Seasheld, we had our fourth quarter reports, and we had every single one of our managers present their sections, what they've been up to for the year. And I think that part of our meeting was like an hour and a half long, almost, just to see the incredible work that staff are up to behind the scenes. And so much of it is so operational, we have no idea. And as I know that we're looking at new quarterly templates, and I'm looking forward to us doing a better job of telling stories here about what we're doing, rather than facts and data that might not necessarily translate to what the community is looking to see happen. So it's a fascinating watch. Highly recommend everybody go check it out if you want to know what goes on in the district of Seasheld in a year. And with that, we're going to move on. New business, Fire Smart funding, Director Gabius.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just following on the conversation we had this morning at Committee of the Whole, I would like to put forward a motion that the board send an advocacy letter to Premier Eby, Minister Parmar, and MLA Neal regarding Fire Smart funding.
Seconded. Thank you, Director Bax. Is there any discussion? I guess I wasn't at that part of the meeting this morning. So regarding Fire Smart funding, in what regard?
Well, if I should ask. Okay, so the province has changed the funding model. They've realized, I think, that the way they typically take applications, kind of a first come, first serve, and then they realized they were running out and they might not have enough money to accommodate all the requests. So they abruptly changed the model to a competitive model, which I think is the wrong way to go. I understand that they're not cutting back and they're not eliminating the program, but if they were to move to a competitive model, I think that would be very detrimental to all the gains that this program has had. It's been such a successful program, and I was telling this morning that, to me, especially, it's such a great example of how the province can download to local governments. It's like you create the program, you pass it down to local governments for implementation, you fund it, and then that creates good jobs, that creates a lot of buy-in from the communities, that builds trust. And so to not have that reliable funding, which allows for planning, for hiring, it's just puts the program in a really precarious situation, and it's such a successful program that I think we should tell the province, hey, like, you've got something really good going on here. You should build on that instead of scaling it back or kind of not meeting the demand that's in the community.
Thank you. Director Inkster.
Yeah, this is for me, because we've been talking a lot about this DOS. Before FireSmart came along, I was talking about fire concerns, and then you and I went to Kelowna at about the same time that program was sort of rolling out, or maybe just after. It was just, there was a lot of talk about fires. We're finally as non-interior communities turning our mind to the fact that the planet is warming, and that non-traditionally dry areas are going to be subject to drying and potential conflagration. So we do need to support a continuation of these programs, and if it's a competition, I'm not sure what that means. If that means that we have to support through government and personal letters as to how effective that program is, then maybe that's part of the discussion that we have to do to continue that program. As part of an education process for our citizens to make sure that their homes have met those requirements. The uptake, as we all know, on that program has been large, and it has a lot to do with the personalities that we've successfully hired locally to carry out that program. Those are good people. That having all been said, and our need for support for the continuation of the program locally in areas that may end up with a large forest fire, I also hope the local government not necessarily funds, but starts to talk about, other than fire smarting our communities, but also forest mitigation. We're not turning our minds enough to slash and forest mitigation. We're protecting neighborhoods, but if the fire comes out of the forest, we can't stop it. So we need to talk more about that as well. And I'll mention it again. I have before. We've talked about it over a number of years, and that's why you and I went to Kelowna. It was all about the fact that our forests, they don't cool down anymore at night. That was the big thing we learned. But it's all about mitigation, fuel that burns and continues to burn in the evening. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands up, so I will call the question on the motion. All those in favor? Thank you, that's unanimous. And with that, we do have an in-camera session, so I'd look for a motion that the public be excluded from attendance at the meeting in accordance with Section 90 of the Community Charter. Moved, thank you, and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. We have nobody in our physical gallery. Is there anybody online? All right, Connie, if you've got a question, go ahead and put your hand up. And if not, you're obviously welcome to email us at any time.
Nothing, thank you, Chair. Nothing at this point, and I will be leaving your meeting.
Great, thank you for coming, Connie. And with that, we're going to go in camera. And welcome back to the regular board meeting for Thursday, February 12th, 2026. It's 1:48. We've concluded our agenda, open and in camera. So I would look for a motion to adjourn the meeting, please. Moved, seconded, all those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. We'll see you at the next one.